Brett Goldstein plays Reba McEntire. I mean, Roy Kent on Ted Lasso, the Emmy-winning comedy. I'm at Noble Gold Derby, and I wanted to start off by asking you, Brett, what do you believe about Ted Lasso?
I'd say, well, nice to see you, Matt. What I believe about Ted Lasso, and sometimes Brendan makes fun of me, is I think that the show is made by magic. I think that there's some magic going on, and I constantly feel like we have to be very, very careful not to disturb the magic. Because yes, everyone works very hard, and we spend months and months and months working out the stories and the scripts, and the actors are amazing, and the cast, the crew are amazing. But also, it's a bit of magic. I think it's so unusual to have every single person be as smart and brilliant as they are and as lovely. Like, people keep asking me sort of like, yeah, but who don't you like? You know what I mean? And I get it, because I think on a normal job, there are of course some people you don't like. And I'm not lying when I say I love everyone. Like, there isn't a bad one in there. So that must be a bit of magic, because someone's usually a prick, aren't they? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. What do you think? What do you think is this? Like, obviously it's magic, but like, what do you think is the most important thing in creating that culture of the show?
Of magic.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's how you choose your people, for starters, you know. And Jason very much has which I think all people should, no dickhead rule. So I guess you meet people and you get a sense of them, and if they're a dickhead, even if they're talented, you don't have them and you don't want to work with them. So there's an element of that, but I also think it comes from all the things of everyone feeling empowered to do their best, and this spirit of collaboration that we have on the show, and that anyone can pitch something or say something, and if it's the best idea, then that's cool. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. There's a I won't spoil or say anything, but there's a thing that is a part of season 3 that came from Rich, the focus puller, who just said, oh, what about this thing? And it was like, that's a fucking brilliant idea, and it's in the show, you know. So I think that the feeling that everyone has, that everyone involved really cares, and you make that by making people feel, I guess, valued.
What for you was a particularly magic moment in season 2?
Whoa, so many. I mean, truly one of the real magic ones for me was when Roy returns to Richmond, and there was that long sequence of trying to get across town, and it took about a week to shoot all of those bits, so it really was this sort of marathon to get to the pitch. And then when I finally arrived and walked along the pitch, there was the crowd doing the chant, and I'd had 5 episodes not with the team, not with the usual cast, and so it was genuinely that was another fucking wonderful, like, I was buzzing, like that was really something that felt very real.
Now, I'm not in the writer's room, Brett. I'm not out on set with you guys.
Right.
I can't look you in the eyes and tell you to be better than you ever thought you were capable of being. I'm just on the outside looking in as an awards procrastinator for Gold Derby, as a member of the media. I'm just judging you. What would you want someone on the outside to know about what it's like on the inside of Ted Lasso?
I guess that what you that is real. I would say that. I mean, it's what I'm talking about. It's all the things. It's that I think it would be very disappointing, because I understand when I watch the show, I think I understand what people enjoy from it. And I think you'd be very disappointed if you found out, oh, everyone's horrible and it's all very cynically done. And that just isn't the case. So I guess what I'd want people on the outside to know is, it's all right, you're right. It is made with love.
And what do you think, like, for you, like, you're in the writer's room, Brett, you're one of the writers on the show, you are also in the cast.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference between the writers' room and sort of the acting sort of cast community sort of the show, and what's the biggest similarity?
What's the biggest difference between the writers
Writers'
and the
room and the cast? Like,
well, they're all both are very smart, funny people. I mean, I guess in the writers' room, no, it's all quite similar. As in the writers' room, you spend all day talking about, everyone ends up oversharing and talking about what their deepest, darkest stuff, and that all ends up in the show. But then that kind of happens with the cast as well. You know, we're all. I wish I could tell you. I mean, obviously the difference is one is writing and one is acting, but there's still the similar vibe to both. I guess you know, there's a thing of in Ted Lasso we don't have a lot of like snark in it. Like the humor isn't generally people being mean to each other, but that doesn't mean we aren't capable of that humor. And certainly in the writers' room, we can do snarky jokes. We then just choose not to use them. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the difference.
mm. Oh, that's cool. Do you have a favorite member of the crew?
You can't ask me that. You can't. I mean, do I have one? No, I've got a top 10. I've got a top 10 that it rotates.
We've got because I spoke with Brandon Hunt earlier, and I said, what is a question I should ask every member of the cast? And he said, favorite member of the crew.
Great question. I mean, he's stitching us up, of course.
Yeah.
But, I've got a rotating top 10, and I announce it on a Friday. I announce it to the crew in the hope of inspiring people to be better so that they can make the top 10 next week.
Yeah. Do people get relegated from the top 10 and promoted into the top 10? Or is it the same? Yeah.
There's a real sense of, you know, competition. There's things you can lose. You get a pay cut if you drop out of the top 10, and you get a raise if you get in the top 4. It's very much like the Premiership.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're an awards website at Gold Derby, and Ted Lasso did very well with season 1 of the Emmys, including yourself, who won the Emmy for Best Supporting Actor. What was that like? What was that whole experience of winning the Emmy like? What does that mean to you? And it was great how you got to slip into Roy Kent mode. And I think you saw twice on the Emmys.
I did swear twice, which was pretty impressively small amount for what I felt. I mean, it was insane. It was truly insane. And I'm from Sutton. It's like it's so far removed from the world I'm from to even. I don't think I've even fantasized about it because it seemed like such a ridiculous thing to even imagine. And I truly did not expect to win. So when they announced my name, I even didn't think I'd heard it right. And luckily it was like written on a big screen, because if they had, I watched it back it's only a split second, but in my head it was really slow. And I was sort of like, why is everyone standing up? And then I looked, oh, is that my name? And, you know, I was very genuinely shocked. And it was really fucking incredible, you know, and just wild. What a wild thing to happen. Amazing.
Is it like different coming onto sort of set, and not just for you personally having won an Emmy, but the whole show having been so successful in that context? Is it different coming into set with that sort of, I don't know, success or expectations on your back?
I think it's something that we've had to, you literally have to forget all of that, because otherwise it's quite dangerous. You know, when we made season 2, when we were writing season 2, season 1 wasn't out yet. So the fact how people react to it and what people thought of characters and blah, 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 didn't change anything, because we had a plan and we stuck to it. But by the time of season 3, we did know what people thought of it, and we had won awards, and again, we just stuck to the plan. It was like, we can't be swayed by what people, because now we know what people want and we know what they think, but actually it's the whole thing I always think about Twin Peaks, which I love, is, you know, you mustn't give people what they want, because they didn't know what they wanted before, you know, the first time out. And so you sort of have to go, stick to it. Like, we've got to keep stay on course, because it has to be surprising. What you want, actually, even if you don't think it, is to be surprised and to be delighted, and not to just get everything you kind of expect. And so I think we got past it pretty quick, but there's definitely the first day of acting as well. You're sort of like, is this how I do it? Is this it? It's been a while since I played Roy, and you're certainly, you could go mad if you start thinking, well, I better be good at this. You know, you just have to forget it all and just focus on what you're doing now in the making of it.
Yeah. What was the funniest moment for you in season 2?
I think look, I don't know if you know this, but I always struggle with scenes with Jamie Tart, with Phil Dunster, and the scene where where I get him to repeat "I'm an ugly, ugly boy with bad hair" probably took a whole day just to get through. And I don't think there's one take clean without me laughing. That was definitely the hardest scene.
With like, we see Roy Kent go on a real sort of journey, and we see how a character like Keeley, a character like Ted, help balance him out in a bit, and we see him sort of change throughout the course of the 2 seasons. How have you, Brett, sort of been balanced out yourself through being with this cast and with these other creators on the show? Like, how have you grown?
Oh my God. I'm just so aware of how lucky I am to do this, and that it is, there's no part of me that takes a second of it for granted. And I think all of us will be very sad when it ends, because it is like, you do feel like this is a once in a lifetime gig. Like, and I don't know if I guess I take it very seriously in terms of not wasting it. That's what, I don't know if I did, I don't know if that's a new thing, but I'm certainly more conscious of not wasting any minute of it, and being, I've got this fucking opportunity to do this amazing character and play this part, and it, we filmed for a long time, so you get a real chance to explore it. And I don't know, you don't, before this is the longest I've played a part, and it's just fucking great. It's great. Yeah. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I really appreciate it.
A few quick questions, Brett. Firstly, is you have a podcast called like Films to Be Buried With. Have I got that right? Name of it? Yeah. Like, yeah. You're an Emmy-winning actor. What's a TV show? If you had to be buried with one TV show, what show would you want to be buried with the rest of your life, for the rest of your afterlife?
I mean, I would say Twin Peaks, but then I'd be really scared. I'd be so scared in my coffin. So, God, I'd be so scared. But at least am I alone in the afterlife? Have I died and it's quite bleak in the afterlife? It's just me.
It's you and one other member of the Ted Lasso cast. Okay. You could choose someone to watch it with you.
Okay, then I'll go with Twin Peaks.
Okay, fantastic. Who would you choose to watch it with you?
To watch it forever. So I'm like, I'm in the afterlife. It's just me
watching
and one
Twin Peaks forever with one other.
I can't answer. I've got a top 10 that I announce every Friday.
So it gets promoted this week.
Yeah.
And finally, you're a big fan of the Muppets, Brett. How have the Muppets informed your comedic sensibilities, particularly as you approach a show like writing Ted Lasso?
Have they? Well, it's their sense of that ultimately, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but it's true, is that the Muppets aren't very good at what, they're not the best. The Muppets aren't the best, Fozzie's not the best comedian, Miss Piggy's not the best singer. Like, they're pretty average to bad at their actual.
Gonzo's are not the best, whatever.
Gonzo's a terrible stuntman. They're quite bad, but they fucking love it, and they're sort of not embarrassed. They're very joyous in their love of just putting on the show, and I think that's how I feel about it. Always like, I might not be very good at it, but I fucking love doing it. So you may as well just do it. Don't let don't let your fears get in the way of you fucking doing it, you know.
I love it. The Electric Mayhem, not a bad band though. They're the ones that are sort of
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Of all the Muppets,
Yeah.
Dr. Steve and Electric Mayhem are actually really good at their jobs.
Yeah. Well, Brett, thanks so much for spending time. It's always so great to chat with you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me again.
All the best of luck with the Emmy Awards, and people watch this interview can go to goldderby.com to make their own awards predictions and watch other interviews with contenders. Brett, thanks so much.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you. Thank you.